Militarily Speaking, Season 2, Episode 9, Air Warrior Courage Foundation.
This episode, we talk with Sam Angelella, Erwin Schultz, otherwise known as Rags, and Bud Redman with Air Warrior Courage Foundation.
Welcome to Militarily Speaking, including a dog that's present for us today, too. So we'll get some nice sound bites. Brought to you by Armed Forces Bank. This is Tom McLean and Jodi Vickery, a wonderful military spouse of a couple of years. I'm the military retail executive with 5 dogs and for Armed Forces Bank. Jodi's our chief digital officer for the company and just celebrated, unbeknownst to her, a 5-year anniversary with the company. She has to catch up to my 18 years, but she's been with us for 5 years. So
that's kind of funny. I totally didn't even know that. I saw it on a slide this week.
She's a job hopper, though, so I'd expect her to be.
Right, yeah.
She is not a job hopper. She is as loyal as they come.
I'm a lifer. Yeah, so again, welcome to our show. We're excited to have our audience listening and learning about our guests, Sam, Rags, and Bud, and Air Warrior Courage Foundation. We do want to take it. I think this is a record. I don't know if we've ever had 3 guests.
This is the first time.
Yeah.
And this is about our 93rd, 94th episode. Yeah. First time we've had 3 guests.
So we're breaking new ground here, hopefully in a good way. We'll know in an hour. But we do want to take a few minutes and tell our audience a little bit about each of you. I'm going to start sharing a little bit about Sam Angelella. Sam is currently the chairman of the Air Warrior Courage Foundation, and he's also consulting in the defense industry. He's responsible for engagement with all entities of the United States military, including the Department of Defense. Should we say, is it the Department of War now? Should we update that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. U.S. Services Leadership in the Pentagon, Joint Staff, all major commands, and combatant commands. Sam's military career spanned more than 34 years. I should say at the top of this, thank you for your service, for sure. All of you. He joined GE Aerospace in 2015 after retiring from the Air Force, where he was the 3-star commanding general for U.S. Forces Japan and commander of 5th Air Force, Pacific Air Forces. Is it Yokota Air Base?
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Well done.
Right, outside Tokyo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. In Japan. And prior to that assignment, he was the vice director for strategic plans and policy on the Joint Staff at the Pentagon, and he retired from GE in 2022. He is a command pilot with more than 3,200 flying hours, including 182 combat hours, mostly in the F-16 and T-38. He served as an instructor pilot, flight examiner, executive officer, flight commander, and operations officer, and he's commanded at the squadron, group, wing, and numbered Air Force level. His global experience includes the Asia Pacific, Europe, and Southwest Asia, in addition to 4 assignments on the Air Staff and Joint Staff in the Pentagon. He is a proud graduate of the U.S. Air Force Academy in 1981, with a Bachelor in Engineering Mechanics, which means he's smarter than both of us, Tom.
Combined.
And later earned 2 master's degree, one from University of Alabama, Roll Tide, and the second from the Air University School of Advanced Air Power Studies. And I don't know what they say. I just know that Alabama's Roll Tide.
Go Auburn. Yeah.
Yeah. That was our last guest. War Eagle.
Wow, that pales in comparison to my resume.
I know, yeah. So,
well, thanks for reading that.
Welcome,
you know
Sam,
what they say about resumes. You know, your dad would be proud and your mom would believe it. So
yeah.
Just hung around for a while and had a lot of great people working with me and for me. So I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Good to have
you bet.
Sam.
You're going to introduce Erwin.
Next guest is Erwin Schultz, fondly known as Rags, but we don't need to spend the whole episode talking about that nickname. But currently the executive director of the Air Warrior Courage Foundation. I should say that quickly. Erwin entered the U.S. Air Force in January 1980, serving as a defensive aerial gunner on B-52D and B-52G, Stratofortress aircraft standing nuclear alert and combat missions in Operation Desert Storm. He was medically retired just over about 32 years ago, 1993. In 2003, Erwin began employment as a National Service Officer with Disabled American Veterans, DAV, great organization. And in 2013, became a National Appeals Officer at the Board of Veterans Appeals in D.C. In these positions, he assisted veterans and their families in claims for benefits through the Department of Veteran Affairs and in written and oral appellate representation before veterans law judges. Sounds like JAG, doesn't it? Kind of in such a way.
Yeah.
He retired from not JAG, but DAV, going back to the acronyms of disabled American veterans on April 30th, 2025. Well, that was just a little while ago, and assumed his current position in May 2025.
So you were retired for all of like 24 hours.
Yeah, is
I
that
think.
May 1st or May
If I
31st?
do the math
I'm-
right.
It was May 1st.
Well, all right.
A
one
long
day
and
later.
restful retirement, yes.
That's more than you should have had. Shame on you. All right. His awards include the Master Enlisted Air Crew Badge, the AWCF, which we'll finally refer to that acronym maybe on multiple occasions today. 2022 Humanitarian of the Year Award. Congrats, Rags. He's a member of the National Guild of Non-Attorney Practitioners. Ooh, I am too, right? Unless I have ESQ after my name. But the Red River Valley Fighter Pilots Association, the Air Force Gunners Association, and the Society.
I need to know what this is. What is the Society of Wild
Weasels.
I'll defer to Bud on that one since he's
president of Wild Weasels, yeah.
Yeah.
Should we ask that after we're done recording? I'm not sure.
Or never. Or we just might have to edit it.
Anything like that.
Nothing illegal. Good to know. Good to know. And then I'm also going to introduce William Redman, otherwise known as Bud. He is a member of the senior executive team, and he is the U.S. Northern Command J9 Chief of the Interagency Group at Peterson Air Force Base, Colorado. He is responsible for providing direction and interagency situational awareness, as well as analysis for comprehensive support to Northern America Aerospace Defense Command and U.S. NORTHCOM missions. Those duties include oversight of interagency synchronization during operations, law enforcement coordination, NORTHCOM's humanitarian assistance program, private sector non-governmental collaboration. Mr. Redman was born in Nashville, Tennessee, so land of Rocky Top.
You got SEC all over the place.
Yeah. He entered the Air Force in 1977 as a crew chief and was commissioned in 1980. He has a lot of flying hours too, more than 3,200 hours, and there's a lot of alphabets here. And the F4C, D, E, G, the F-15E, the F-16E, and the B-1B. I didn't even know there were that many choices.
I did not.
And more than 350 combat hours to include combat weapons employment in the F-4G, F-15E, and the B-1B as a weapons systems officer. Graduate of the USAF Fighter Weapons School and a distinguished graduate of the Marine Corps Command and Staff College, Marine Corps School of Advanced Warfighting, and the National War College. And then I would say that there are numerous other prestigious roles and duty stations that, Bud, you have filled over your military career as well. And I'd say once more that we just thank you all, for all three of you, for your service to the country. It's always appreciated.
Thank you.
I want to welcome all three of you. It's definitely our honor to have you on the show. And I don't know who wants to go first or how y'all want to take turns talking about this, but I'd love for somebody to just give our audience an overview of the Air Warrior Courage Foundation as a starting point.
Well, I could start. I looked through a couple of my old emails today, and I was impressed that it was almost 10 years ago that Dave Brogg, the previous executive director and currently on the board, approached me about joining the board. And I felt like I had just been doing this yesterday. But whenever we talk to Dave or any of the other board members about supporting service members in need and their families, they always go back to the mission and say, hey, these military aviators formed from the River Rats, the Air Warrior Courage Foundation. I'll just mention it as foundation. We do this to take care of our own. And we do it in various ways. I'll let Rags and Bud talk about the different programs that they watch and oversee, but anywhere from disaster relief, wounded airmen programs, surviving children of lost service members, either in combat or peacetime training, whatnot. And again, always go back to, we do this to take care of our own. Very, very rewarding, all over the country, all over the world. And I'll go ahead and pause there and see if Rags or Bud like to add something.
Well, AWCF initially was started out by one airman to assist another airman. A pilot by the name of Bob Pardo, who you can look up Pardo's Push, which was a very gutsy thing that he did. But the guy he helped out that day over Vietnam was Earl Amon. And when Earl Amon developed MS, this was set up to help him with anything they could do to try to make his life easier, because it established, it's one thing about you'll hear us talk about it probably a lot in this podcast, and we talk about it amongst ourselves in different ways, is the concept of being wingmen. And the rule is, it's not a written rule, but it's a rule: you never leave your wingman. And that's what we're doing here with the AWCF, making sure our wingmen are covered for, as long as we're able to. You're up, bud.
Yeah, bud, you want to add something to that? Both gentlemen did a great job, but do you have anything else?
I think it's a spectrum of support, from PTSD support for therapies, which are experimental, but they've shown promise, to a Navy E7 whose daughter had cancer and she had to come back, but he couldn't because his son was graduating in Italy, and supporting them for 3 months. It's just the things that we get to do is about as worthy as you could do in our stage of life. And that's what I love about the Air Warrior Courage Foundation.
Talk about paying it forward, right? And giving back and
Still so connected.
fulfilling something that's you're passionate about. So I wouldn't want any 3 other people being in charge of what you guys do every day. So thank you. But let's talk about your military careers, and because this is about you and why you're here today too, doing such good work. But if there was one mission or one assignment during your career that stands out the most in your memory, what would it be? I mean, we went through a litany of all of your backgrounds and probably left out a lot of what you've accomplished, but is there something that stands out for you in your careers?
Well, whenever I get asked a question like that, I would say, you got to be careful asking a fighter pilot to talk about himself. How much time do we have today?
Yes. I'll order dinner.
All right. You should have corrected me when I sent that to you. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
I said, my first assignment was my favorite because I met my wife. My first fighter assignment was my favorite because I met Budman and I got to go to Desert Storm. My next favorite was almost 10 years in Japan, which would go to on and off. I've had, 5 assignments in Japan, 4 in the Pentagon. You can read about that, but most rewarding is helping others. And I thought about this and I said, I actually was not in Japan, but we had 9/11 in our country. Japan had 3/11, the tsunami. And I was actually, as you mentioned, the director of plans and programs on the Joint Staff on 3/11 and being able to help out my friends in Japan at that time. And then shortly after that, I got to go back to Japan as a commander and follow up on that to help out. So that was, many, many years, a 34-year career, almost 10 years in Japan. So wow. I have very many friends there. And living that long overseas really made an impact on my children, my family. They've become very worldly, very international. And so that's what I'm most proud of, I would say, career-wise.
For me, it's really hard to nail down any one particular assignment or mission or something like that. I would say the thing that stands out the most in my memory is the people I served with. And these are people who are just, I flew with some good crews. We had good ground crews, and people don't realize just how much it takes to get one aircraft in the air. And you get to see it from all sides, how everybody has to work together, take care of each other to get the mission accomplished. And that kind of continues on, after all of this. And it continued throughout my time in DAV. I've served with great people there, but, in DAV, we're all veterans in one form or another. I think it's just the camaraderie you have, for one thing. And then, like I said, just you're serving with great people. So that's the one thing that sticks out for me, is the people I served with.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. As I visit our banks on military installations and visit with command and in all branches of service, that's the draw for me too, is the people. And it's instant respect, instant gratitude. And especially in your profession, I think the precision and the nature of what you do, I appreciate you talking about your team, because without them, we can fail miserably if we don't have the right team doing the right things and being very, fine-tuning their craft. And so good answer on that one. Bud,
creates a huge network too. My husband was in the Army for 20 years, and we can go anywhere almost, even in the smallest of towns, and he will randomly run into somebody that he served with in some
Instant bond.
far-reaching
Yeah.
part of the world, and he'll disappear in a gas station for 20 minutes and come back. I'm like, what happened? Where'd you go? Yeah.
So for me, it was 28 and a half years of nothing but fun. From starting out as a crew chief to starting to fly to becoming a wild weasel with Sam, where we got to fly together, to the F-15E, where I got to deploy, and to finally, probably my most rewarding was going to the B-1. They sent 2 fighter guys to bombers, and what they wanted to do was do an exchange of cultures. And I would tell you, I was nervous, I was anxious, but the guys and girls accepted me. And 2 months after I checked out, I got to take the group to support operations in Afghanistan. That was my first time supporting the Army when they were in conflict. And I will tell you that that is a great mission. And when we executed operations against our enemies, it was to help the Army and to hopefully save Army lives. So that was really important. And Marines and even the French, we supported.
Yeah.
I'd like to pile on a little bit on Budman too, because I quickly said I met him in my first fighter assignment at Spangdahlem, but on his resume it says that he went to the Air Force Weapons School. A lot of people don't know the Air Force Weapons School, but everybody would know what Top Gun is. So the Air Force Weapons School is the Air Force's top gun. So the best of the best, and actually one of my instructors. So I was really pleased when Bud agreed to join the foundation. One of my other assignments, back when I was a wing commander at Masala, Dave Broad came to visit us on a business meeting. That's when I first met him. And then followed up with me in 2016 to join the foundation. And really, I remember that lunch. And then a couple of years later, took me to lunch again and introduced me to Rags, who's going to come on and help the foundation also. And so like they both said, it's really about the people. Serving in Afghanistan, I've served in Kuwait, you could see that, but really goes back to the people and what you're doing for them and their families.
I think we could do a podcast with each one of them just talking about all of this. I would tune in for it for sure.
I'm waiting for Bud to go ice. From Top, right? Was that Val Kilmer?
I actually thought of Top Gun when they started talking about being somebody's wingman. That was my...
that was in the
culture
sequel
reference
to it too, talking about the wingman.
Yeah. So I know that you're all three here to talk about Air Warrior Courage Foundation, and it sounds like you each maybe are responsible for different programs. I'd love for you collectively to share with our audience what those programs are.
Well, I work right now doing the initial work to set up 529 accounts for children of personnel who die on active duty. That's what I've been doing this afternoon, is running down details to get 4 more set up.
Awesome. That's great.
Then also I help out with the Heartland, Kansas, Oklahoma, that area. We've got 3 great people out there who are the spearheads of this. One of whom is really an Air Force legend, Chuck DeBellevue. They work with these colleges and high schools, the ROTC and junior ROTC programs. Chuck and his crew out there, which to mention them all, Mike Swaniker and William Shortfager, they reach out to these young kids in junior ROTC, some of them inner city kids who have no idea that the military could be a career. And they get involved with junior ROTC and they see a new way of life. As part of what we're doing with that program, the way I refer to it is remembering our past by honoring our future, because we've got to build on what's established for our military services and the people who've come before. And this is our way of helping out and trying to keep good people in the military. Just like we were recruited at one time, maybe these people will. And if they go in, they're going to be our future. So it's an investment that we work out there. I also work a lot of the people who contact us wanting to get assistance for we do one-time assistance on a as-need basis for like a single bill or a rent payment or something like that. Bud mentioned earlier a young man who had PTSD with an experimental program, and we did the work on it, and we got that whole course of treatment provided. One that I'm really happy for is we took there was a grandson of a aviator who was killed flying B-1s, and the grandson had major speech impediment, and we took care of the orthodontic bills and everything, and the kid can talk just perfect now. His confidence is way up. It's changing lives is what we do. And I learned that in DAV, that once you get that fire in the belly to start changing people's lives, as our former National Adjutant Art Wilson put it, you get that fire in the belly and it doesn't go away. So that's why when Dave Brogg told me one day that I had the stick when he had some medical problems, and then I was told that they wanted me to take over, it's like, well, I'm doing service, so yeah, I'll do it.
Really good. One of the people we haven't talked about who's key to the foundation is our Treasurer CFO, Jerry Knotts.
Hey everyone, if you're looking for a little extra financial flexibility to take the family on a vacation, tackle that home renovation, or just get through the ups and downs of military life, we've got some great news for our military listeners.
Absolutely. Armed Forces Bank offers access loans that are perfect for handling life's unexpected expenses, consolidating debt, or even making that big purchase you've been thinking about. And with our fast approval process, you can get the funds you need quickly and easily without all the hassle.
At Armed Forces Bank, about 75% of our team is affiliated with the military, so we understand your unique needs. We've been supporting military families for over 100 years, and we're here to help you take control of your finances.
Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a reservist, we're committed to offering you flexible terms and competitive rates, making sure you get a loan that fits your life.
So if you're ready to take that next step, head over to afbank.com or visit a branch near you. Armed Forces Bank, serving those who serve.
Member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Origination fee applies. Direct deposit relationship required. Loan terms are based on loan amount.
And what Jerry has done over the last 10 years is he's produced an audit capability. He's made our funding transparent. He's put in verification along with Dave Brogg, verification and validation, so that if you do spend money with us and donate, we make sure that it's a valid reason and a valid need by our veterans and by our active duty. And so he's presented all that. So right now I'm working on a strategic plan, and I'm working to reset our databases and such for our website on there. But I will take over for Jerry, who's done a great job on that. And I will say that just the magnitude of our TSP support of $120,000 per year to that and to special needs kids of veterans is a pretty good thing that we do, and we love it. And Sam talked about me. Sam is a graduate of the School of Air and Space Studies. That's a brainiac school in the Air Force.
That's right up my alley. Yeah.
You did establish that you're definitely smarter than Tom and I.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you don't really have to read and write to go to Top Gun School, but you got to go read and write to go to SAS.
I'm sure there's more qualifications than that.
Well, thanks for that. Thanks for the transition, but as long as we're talking about schools, Rags talked a little bit about the junior ROTC, but we also provide not scholarships. The Red River Valley Fighter Pilots Association, the Wild Weasels, they do scholarships. We do college grants. And so we do college grants for all the services. Being that I'm in Daytona, I actually have the opportunity and privilege to go to Embry-Riddle and provide those college grants to the students in person. And I'll tell you what, sitting around the table with those young ROTC students, future leaders of all the services, is very uplifting and very rewarding. To do that, we do that all over the country. But like I said, I'm fortunate enough to be here in Daytona by Embry-Riddle, and not just Air Force, all services, Navy ROTC, which covers the Marines, Air Force ROTC, which covers the Space Force, and then also the Army ROTC. I do try to get the other services to come over to the Air Force. It's just in my nature.
Competitive as you are.
Like I said, very rewarding and uplifting. Following on a little bit of the things Rags mentioned, helping out individuals. at the Fisher houses near the military hospitals around the country, specifically in San Antonio. Had an opportunity to visit there once for the families visiting their loved ones, helping out with homes. Maybe someone needs to have their home modified because of a disability, vehicles for disabilities, you name it. Like Dave keeps reminding me, Dave Brogg, we care for our own and each other. So a lot going on, and it's not just the three of us. Boy, we got a lot of people helping us out.
One thing this last year that I got to go witness was we helped support the Navy Wounded Warrior program. And I got to go to one of their training and competition events up in Springfield, Virginia. And the things they do for these people who've been injured, whether it's physically, psychologically, it's so uplifting seeing it. And the one thing that really got me is somebody asked, well, you're Air Force, why are you here helping the Navy? And my comment was, it doesn't matter what branch you are. When we take that oath, we take basically the same oath, and that makes us all family. Now, the way I put it to somebody once, we can pick on each other, nobody else can.
Yeah, unless it's college football Saturday, and then all bets are off.
That's right.
I think this is why we do these podcasts, right? Because AWCF, these are one of those hidden gem organizations that we need to spotlight and showcase to an audience that, we're in this game all day long. Jodi and I are looking for great nonprofits out there and great organizations that are doing good work. And this is one of those. So it's as we unwrap the history of the organization and listen to you, it's rewarding for us to be able to share this information with the audience. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this.
Yes.
I'm going to go off script a little bit here, but when people go to your website, because I think as you were talking, when you're telling all these great stories and these things you do, programs, how do you get the word out there? We go back to that hidden gem. Armed Forces Bank is a hidden gem. We're tucked away typically in military installations, 13 of them, 14 of them, and we have a digital presence, but there's 45,000 nonprofits serving the military. How do you get the awareness built for you? And if they go to your website, which is www.airwarriorcourage.org, what do they find out there? But how do you attract people to you?
A lot of it comes from like VA social workers who will help these people, for whatever program or plan they're trying to get. If there's any kind of assistance that can't be provided by the VA or by the U.S. government itself, we try to be that group that says, let's see what we can do. A lot of times there are programs that the VA and the government can't do or the military can't do, and we can step in and help out. If it fits somehow into our bylaws, we can shoehorn it if necessary.
Yeah.
But if it's to provide service to one of our own, you're going to find that we're going to try everything we can to do it.
Yeah, and that's what I heard kind of across all three of your answers was you're doing your great skill here is marshaling a lot of different resources to bring them to bear, one situation, one scenario at a time as
finding a way to
reach out for sure. Yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
Sometimes if we can't help, we can get them pointed in the right direction.
Yeah. No, I hear that loud and clear. So I think you mentioned that you were working on the strategy side of the house right now. I'd be really interested to hear about what does that way forward look like? If you look, I don't know if any of us have a crystal ball 10 years down the road.
Let's go with 5 days.
Yeah. I know. What are we doing tomorrow? What's tomorrow look like? Sometimes that's reality. But so what does that vision look like? Around here, we like to look at 3 years, 5 years out. What does that look like and how are you preparing for that?
Yeah, I would say that a lot of the founders of the foundation, Vietnam era veterans, are choosing to make their positions available for the next generation of leaders. And so I think that we watch that. We watch the intake. Basically, where do we get our funds from? It takes a lot of footwork, and a lot of veterans know of the foundation. And there's a way to leave a legacy with the foundation in your will and paperwork. So we rely on that. As you mentioned, and Rags and Bud know this part better than I, but the direct giving direct. Bud mentioned the combined federal campaign and other ways to give. Events, we're going to step up our presence at events, Air Force Association meetings, a lot of information handed out there. And then just attending other events sponsored by other foundations and teaming with them to get our visibility up and work on our intake.
Another thing is reaching out. I'm going to the Air Force Wounded Warrior program they have going on up here in National Harbor here very shortly. But most of our goal is to, like Sam and Bud have said, Dave Brogg, Jerry Knotts, and the entire board have built a very solid foundation that we're working with. Our goal is, what I see it, is to build it stronger and more, stronger and able to help in more ways than we can now, to leave it stronger for eventually when we have to step down and leave our board positions for the next generation. So at the end of the day, as long as we want to leave it better than we found it. But we've got such a solid foundation that, it gives us room to try things, to bring different things into the 21st century. But at no time are we going to go and undo anything that's been done before.
I think if anybody goes to your website, I hope everybody goes to your website. If they see that list of board members, that's the who's who of military history, that when you have that kind of esteemed support, beside having a 4-star on Charity Navigator and building a reputation for yourselves, the board composition to me it seals the deal when you have that many people, good people around you like that.
One thing about it, you've got people on our board, like I said, you've got a legend like Chuck de Bellevue, you've got the 4-star General Mike Dugan, you have Sam, Budman, Dave Brogg, all these people who've been there, done that. They have been at the top or very near the top of the military. And rather than, when they leave the military, fall back and rest on that or disappear or anything else, they chose to form the foundation and build the foundation because it's preeminent to them to take care of our own. And these are the type of people that you want as your leaders, because you know that they're going to get the mission accomplished, but they're going to take care of their people as much as they can while they do it. And so I said, to me, it's an honor to be a part of this with people who are that, like I said, people who've been to the top or near the top, who give of themselves still to do service to others. It's, like I said, it's humbling.
Oh, yeah.
What we'd like to do, as Rag so eloquently put, was we'd like to increase our presence in helping veterans. That's the crux, while keeping our validation and verification procedures 4 stars, so that we spend the money that people give us in the right way for the right person at the right time.
Yep. No, I think all of that makes sense. And I don't want to not say this, so while it's on my mind. When people go to your website, the airwarriorcourage.org, I assume there are places there where, if they're so moved, they can give directly to the organization through the website.
Absolutely.
We're getting that built in as we're redoing the website.
Gotcha.
It's capable now. It's capable for that now, but we're trying to expand that opportunity for people.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. We just always like to encourage folks to give as they are so moved, for sure.
Let me jump in there too. One of the things that I discovered on Facebook is you have friends that say, hey, for my birthday this year, I am raising money for X charity. And so it's possible that maybe someone listening to this podcast, when their birthday comes up, would say, I would like to raise money for the Air Warrior Courage Foundation. And put a link in there for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then that comes directly to the foundation and helps out. And you can always say, like any foundation or charity, you can say, I would like to designate it for this specific program or undesignated, and leave it to the board to use that for the most immediate need that we have. So there's many ways to do that. But like you said, we have to get the word out.
Yep.
Thanks for helping us do that.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
Very welcome. But before we get to our fun game that we play at the end of podcast, I do want to ask, I'm going to combine a little something
fun.
here. Yeah.
Loosely defined fun.
When you look at different charities out there. I mentioned how many there are. You prominently display Gary Sinise Foundation out there, but there's a lot of players that can help you as we collaborate with those nonprofits to get the word out there and share resources or share information, share programs, whatever. Is there a certain way that you identify organizations that are aligned with your mission? And how do you choose them? How do you selectively bring them into your fold?
I think it goes back to what Rags and Bud were saying in the beginning. It's about relationships. We have a strong relationship with Gary Sinise as he was traveling around to military bases. That's where that relationship came from. And we continue to work that through personal and professional relationships with people in the other organizations. As Rag said, he was going to go he went to the Navy Wounded Warrior program and things like that.
And get help to people who need it. That's the main thing. All the money we have at the end of the day doesn't mean a thing if we can't help somebody with it, which is what it was set up for. So if we're not helping somebody, we failed.
Well, it's clear to me that you care deeply about it, coming from deep down inside where true things come from.
They are
right?
the kings of sound bites because they know exactly what to say on a podcast.
Yes. Pros at this. I don't know, Tom, if you've got other. Tom likes to ask random things, so I always like to check off with him at the end to see if he's got random things.
I have way too much respect for these guys to ask random questions. That's it.
I don't think that's ever happened. Well done, you guys. You can come back anytime. He didn't tell any weird jokes. He didn't ask any random questions.
I kept it above board today.
You made him behave, so I am forever indebted to you. So I guess maybe one final question would just be, and you can all three answer, or if one of you wants to jump in on it. When you step back and look at success of the foundation, I think we've touched all around it. What does that look like for you, whether that's personally or as a foundation as a whole? How do you measure that?
I think it's the enduring legacy of the foundation and the results for the families, to where, we look for opportunities to take care of families, but we're also to the point now to where our awareness is out there and people are aware of us and they are coming to us and they know that they can ask for help when they need it. So I would say that is the most fulfilling part, knowing that we're able to give back, pay it forward, as you say, and keep it going.
I'd say for me, it's just, I spent that time in DAV helping other veterans, and now I was given an opportunity to help other veterans here through this, which is a slightly different method of service, but it's still service to our own. Success to me is actually having helped people. It doesn't matter that, we're not here to do this to get pats on the back or accolades or anything like that. We're here to do it because it's the right thing to do. You have to take care of our own.
Well, Bud, you get the last word.
Oh, I can't build on that.
Let it go. Just let it go.
We do worthy work, and part of my job is to make sure that every dollar spent is a dollar spent for the right person.
Well said.
Bravo. Well
said for all three of you. Yeah.
Let's play a game.
So we call our game the Military Minute. So on our last podcast, we had somebody that was a graduate of Auburn University. So we tailored our question around that. And I know we have a University of Alabama grad on the phone, so maybe rivalry might cause you to know this. I don't know. How many national championships have the Auburn Tigers football team won, and what year was the most recent win? Anyone want to wager a guess?
Too many in 2024?
2009?
Oh, missed it by that much.
You round up by a year.
We'll round it up by a
Perfectly
year.
correct.
Yeah, 2010.
2010, yeah. Can you believe they've won 9? That was actually surprising to me. But
I was going to say 8.5.
8.5. We'll see.
I'm sorry, I don't pay attention unless it's baseball, and it better be the St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, then you and Tom might not be able to be friends. He's a Cubbies fan.
Thanks for joining us today. We have to end this abruptly.
The connection's getting disrupted. Yeah, no, he's a Cubs fan.
The Cubs did make it farther than the Cardinals this year.
He's sad right now. So if you are in our audience and you either guessed right or you actually knew the answer was 9 national football championships, the most recent in 2010, watch for your name to see if you were selected to receive $50 for you and $50 to a charity of your choice.
That might be AWCF.
I know just the one that you could send that $50 to. This week's Military Minute, though, y'all can't answer because we're going to tee this up for our audience. But You might know. It is a question about the National War College. There is a hall at the War College dedicated to a military hero in our history, and we'd like our audience to name that hero.
Don't answer. I know all three of you know it. You have some connection to the National War College.
I can't tell if they know it or not. But if you're in our audience,
I know they have poker face.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I do not want to play poker with any of you.
No.
But if you're in our audience and you know it, or you're really handy with Google, drop your answer when our podcast hits. And if you are right, first and foremost, and then if you are selected, secondly, you too would win $50 for yourself and $50 for a charity of your choice.
Sam, Rags, Bud, bravo. Thank you again for your time and getting the word out there about an organization that does work that is top rate. So
absolutely, absolutely. And one more time, the website, airwarriorcourage.org.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, go out to afbank.com and subscribe to the show. Make sure you rate us, leave us a comment on your favorite platform, such as Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. So thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to meet all three of you.
Thanks for doing this for us. Really appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Copyright Armed Forces Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All non-Armed Forces Bank owned apps, websites, company names, and product names are trademarks or registered trademarks of their respective owners. Their mention does not imply any affiliation with or endorsement by Armed Forces Bank of them or their products and services. They are merely used as examples of the many available apps, companies, and websites that offer similar services. Before using any app or website, you should carefully review the terms of use, data collection, and privacy policy. Apps may have an initial cost or in-application purchase features. This information is general in nature and is not intended to be legal, tax, or financial advice. Although Armed Forces Bank believes this information to be accurate, it cannot ensure that it could change. Statements or opinions of individuals referenced herein are their own, not Armed Forces Bank. Consult an appropriate professional concerning your specific situation and respective governing bodies for applicable laws, such as IRS.gov for current tax law. Armed Forces Bank, the Armed Forces Bank logo, and the Militarily Speaking logo are registered trademarks of Armed Forces Bank.